Can the increasing strength of the US dollar be dangerous and even detrimental to the US economy? That's going to be the topic of this video. This is more of a thinking exercise and something I thought of and I thought I would share. Maybe you guys can see some logical flaws in my thought process and we can figure this out. Because from what I can tell, the strength of the US dollar combined with a lot of other things has the potential to actually wreak havoc on our economy, and I wanted to share to see if you guys had any other point of view, any other type of perspective, and then maybe I can stop being a stupid bear. Anyways, so as we all know, the US dollar has been getting stronger and stronger recently. If you wanted to travel abroad, now would be the time to do it. The conversion rates to the yen, the euro, the pound, the peso, the won, they're all really, really good. And I was thinking, could that be actually a problem? Why is the dollar getting stronger? So the dollar is actually getting a lot stronger, just in my opinion, because a lot of people from other economies, from other countries, they see the US as a safe haven, as basically a place where you can park your money safely without it depreciating. If you put your money in the dollar while the dollar is rising or staying strong while your currency is falling, then you're actually winning compared to if you were to just leave your money in your native currency. For example, if you were holding the Japanese yen, then you would if you put your money in the dollar, you would be able to maintain more purchasing power than if you were to keep it in the yen. Secondly, if you look at US equities have been performing much better than basically any market all around the world. So much so that there are actually European stocks inside European stock markets that are delisting from their native stock market to go to US stock markets, i.e. the NYSE or the NASDAQ, because they see more potential to raise more money. Additionally, because the US is an import country, we actually tend to want to have a stronger currency compared to other countries. For example, China, being a net export country, they want to maintain a weaker RMB, a weaker currency, or maybe even like Vietnam, they want to maintain a weaker currency because that just makes trade internationally a lot easier. So this all sounds fine and dandy. To be honest, actually this sounds really great, right? You have a lot of people that want to go to US markets. They're all moving their dollars from their native country to the US stock exchange, to the US equities, and that should just be creating more and more euphoria for the markets, for the US markets, right? What's wrong with this? Additionally, you have all these people that are making US dollars, they're going out to spend money, and their dollar is getting stronger and stronger, so then these people can get more and more out of their travel. So how is this bad? How's this going to be detrimental to the US economy? So I think my main fear sparked from when I realized, this is not to be political in any sense of the word, but it's just from public statements. Trump has stated that he wants to create more manufacturing jobs in the US, right? So we want to create more things in America to be self-sustaining and also to be able to export our products abroad, our products globally. So the problem with that is you want to have a weaker currency when that happens, right? When we do create those things, we want to have a weaker currency so that other countries would be even willing to buy our things, right? If our products cost too much, then even if we create a lot of things, even if they're really high in quality, other countries might still refrain from buying US goods because of how expensive this is. Not to mention that we also might be adding this 20% tariff to all global goods. If that's the case, then having a strong US dollar would be even worse for our new manufacturing segment. I don't know how it's going to be implemented, how we're going to create more manufacturing jobs, but assuming that it happens, when we do create these goods, I fear that unless we weaken the dollar, especially if we have tariffs, no one's going to want to buy those goods. And that could create lower EPS per company, right? Because we create these goods and no one wants to buy them. So then we have lower demand for our increased supply, right? And then just no one wants to buy it. Or if we were to start weakening the US dollar, then countries might actually start pulling out. What's scary as heck is we kind of saw this, like a glimpse of it in the Japan carry trade. The reason why that happened was because the Japanese yen was getting stronger. That's the entire reason for this sudden flash crash, not crash, but flash like almost mini correction of our stock market, because the US, just because the Japanese yen was getting stronger. Now, imagine if it's not just the Japanese yen that's getting stronger, right? Because that's only between Japan and America, right? Because if you think of the main market everyone is investing in is the US markets, and then Japanese yen, I mean, it's only Japan, right? But instead of looking at it as if it's only the Japanese yen that is getting stronger, if the American dollar is getting weaker, then would you see, is it possible that we might see, like if it's trending lower, if we see like a strong trend of the American dollar getting weaker, then that basically, that's the same thing as if American dollar stayed the same and all the other countries globally are increasing in strength, right? So would this lead to a Japan carry trade, but a global Japan carry trade? Is that a possibility? Because basically, if that were the case, American dollar gets weaker, then it's no longer as efficient or as sought after to change your currency, to change your native currency, whether it's the pound or the euro or the RMB or the won or whatever. It's no longer as sought after to change your currency into the American dollar to buy US equities. Now, would it be a flash crash? I don't know, right? Like this is as far as my thinking goes. This is why I wanted to kind of walk out my logic with you guys to see if you guys had any opinions, if you guys had any, maybe there's a flaw in my logic that I'm missing. But I think that this is quite possible if the US dollar were to suddenly get weaker, because whether that's some type of economic struggle, whether that's because we start manufacturing more, and then in order to manufacture more, we want to weaken the dollar in order to deal with those manufactured goods, to export more. In addition to that, what's also scary is you also see some people, some influencers and also some news heads, some figureheads, talking about how we might actually be looking into deflation. When you deflate, then the Federal Bank, they want to start inflation. If that's the case, then the US dollar again gets weaker compared to its counterparts around the world, compared to its global counterparts. Then those get stronger, again, leading to less desire to go into US markets or to buy the US dollar. So I guess that means that there's a few things. I'm thinking about this on the spot too, right? Like this is just top of my head. But if one, we weaken the US dollar because we want more manufacturing, then other countries might pull out of US equities, causing it doesn't necessarily have to be a crash, but it will be a decline in US equity prices. Another thing that people might say is that if the US does enter a recession and we need to start stimulating the economy, we need to start printing more money. If we print more money, then that causes inflation. If we enter like some type of economic pullback, then the Federal Bank might want to start inflating to encourage more spending. Again, you have a increase in global currencies while a decrease in the American dollar. Again, people might start pulling out of the US economy. I don't know. I don't know. Like this is just top of my head. I just thought I'd share it, and maybe you guys have some type of insight. That's all I wanted. That's all I really asked for. So is the combination of a strong US dollar along with the desire to have more manufacturing in America, could the mix of those two things actually be really bad, be detrimental, or is this fear completely overblown? I just wanted to hear your opinion. Maybe you guys have some insight on this. That's it. Peace.